Nowadays, nothing really is. Only one of me and nobody like me. Phone ringing and I tell him it's ice. I got wifey on blingy, she freeze. Photo, please, no photos. Jeez, no, please, no photos. I keep giving game away. I put game on layaway. I got paid.
This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, well. It surely does not matter who the host is, that is for sure. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. Today's Friday, August the 13th, of 2021. And day 225 of the year, just in case we were trying to figure it out. And only 140 days left to go before it is all over with. So there you go. That's what's going on. And we are broadcasting across the multiverse of Safety FM. And in case you did not know this, we hang out with that other place, that other station that we do stuff with. Maybe someday, somehow.
USA, Canada, UK.
Well, I kind of felt that was a little weak on the Radio Big side of the house.
Radio.
Okay, now I feel like that's much bigger. That's much bigger. Anyway, so let's start talking right away on what is trending and what is going on inside of the world here. Because, here's the thing. If you're not familiar with the show, we talk a little bit about the world of safety, the world of news, and all that kind of fun stuff, and everything in between. You jump into the box, chat away. We kind of go your general direction on whatever you want to talk about.
Duh.
And then from that particular point on, we kind of jump around and talk about the news. But on Fridays, we do it more freeform style. So you kind of pop into the chat. You kind of pop in by texting into 866-930-SFM1. And then we go from there. We go all around the block the way that you want to. Because that makes it a little bit easier for me. It also makes it a little bit easier for you in regards of us staying on context on whatever you want to talk about. So that's always important is to do stuff. Anyways, a lot of good messaging coming in right away. That's a good one. I am here to watch you F stuff up. I'm giving you the clean version. It's to F shiznit up according to what it's saying inside of the box. So thank you, I guess, as we're talking here. So anyways, let's talk about what is trending in the overnight, because we are always here to talk about some of those things. And starting to glance and move and all that kind of fun stuff. So if you're waiting for the video on demand services on what you can do over the weekend, if you're wanting to watch some of the stuff that's coming on, let me give you kind of a short list of what's out there to watch right away. New to Disney will be Aquamarine. So that's something available to you. And then new to HBO, you'll have Jurassic Park 3, and The Lost World, all available to you. New to Hulu will be Silo. And then new to Hulu as well is The Hate You Give. Never heard of it. And then new to Netflix is Beckett. So there you go. Some different options for some different things depending on what you want to do as you are hanging out over the weekend and doing, the weekend gig. The weekend gig of what is getting done here. Anyway, so here we go. Let's start off our show here with some feature story news. Have the peeps come in, tell us about what's going on inside of that particular world, and we'll get you moving and grooving right away.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Tens of thousands of Afghans are fleeing as the Taliban advance continues. Afghanistan's second largest city, Kandahar, has fallen to the militant group. It follows the US-led withdrawal of foreign troops in the country after 2 decades. Major General Charlie Herbert is a retired British Army battalion commander who served 3 tours in Afghanistan.
I'm devastated, utterly devastated. But a decision was taken by the President of the United States to withdraw. And we know that the United Kingdom did not support that decision. The Defence Secretary has said that of late. It was an ill-judged decision which we will regret.
A young child and a gunman are understood to be among the 6 people dead after a shooting in Plymouth in southwest England. Police say they're not looking for anyone else and it's not being treated as terror-related. Andy Ballantyne reports from Keam in Plymouth.
Officers have stood guard all night protecting the scene while others are trying to piece together exactly what happened. The eyes of the nation turned to Plymouth, which is in shock this morning as reports of a gunman emerged, confirmed hours later by Devon and Cornwall police as a shooting with several victims. Dog walkers and runners enjoying the late Thursday evening sun told me what they saw.
I was out at home and I was just about to come out for me run and I heard some loud bangs actually, and then I seen some helicopters.
4 or 5 helicopters that have flown over my house, really low down. They landed not far from here, but obviously they've taken off now with the victims and injuries and all that to hopefully get them sorted out.
Now, it's a very close-knit community down here. We understand that there is a lot of shock, there's a lot of anger, and there's also a lot of questions to be answered.
The Hong Kong government is playing down worries over an exodus of citizens. Official figures show almost 90,000 people have left the city since the introduction of the controversial national security law a year ago. Richard Kimber reports from Hong Kong.
The departure of so many Hong Kongers in the past year has seen the city's population drop by more than 1%. Academics say that's a cause for concern, as many people leaving are highly skilled workers who may be hard to replace. Figures for the latest tax year also show the number of people withdrawing their state pension scheme is at a record high. You can only do that if you claim you're leaving the city permanently. The government isn't worried. It says Hong Kong's status as an international city means it's always had a highly mobile population, and that strict COVID-19 immigration and quarantine measures have led to a low influx of people in the past year.
Amazon is moving production of its multi-million-dollar Lord of the Rings series from New Zealand to the UK. It spent $465 million on the first season of the yet-to-be-released programme, which is due to run for 4 more seasons. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, a cri de coeur from a women's rights activist in Afghanistan about the crisis engulfing her country. Millions of Afghan women face a terrifying future as Taliban gains continue unabated. And earlier this week on Turkey's state-funded TV news channel TRT World, Mahbouba Siraj, founder of the Afghan Women's Network, could take it no more.
I'm going to say to the whole world, shame on you. For what you did to Afghanistan. Why did you have to do what you did? And why are you doing this to this part of the world? I don't get it. I mean, are you using all of us? Are we being just the pawns in your hands? Is that what it is? I'm going to be gone. I won't even see my country doing what it's supposed to be doing. Even for the young generation, what are we going to do? Now there's going to be an exodus of the Afghans again leaving this country. So what are we going to do? We are going to sit again and fight again and lose again and then make another generation and then for the world to make another stupid decision and destroy us all? Is this what it is going on? I don't understand it. I'm so sorry, I don't understand it. And thank you for giving me the time so I could say this to the world. We are disgusted.
Mahbouba Siraj of the Afghan Women's Network that she founded in 1996 to empower Afghan women and secure their equal participation in society. I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, tens of thousands of Afghans are fleeing as the Taliban advance continues. A young child and a gunman are understood to be among the 6 people dead after a shooting in Plymouth in southwest England. The Hong Kong government is playing down worries over an exodus of citizens shown in new data, and Amazon is moving production of its multi-million-dollar Lord of the Rings series from New Zealand to the UK. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
You know how sometimes you're out and about and sometimes you have to access a report, maybe your bank account, maybe something that's important to you, but you don't want other people to be able to access it? I know you're probably sitting there for a moment going, well, why don't you just go into incognito mode and use that instead? Well, let me tell you something real quick. Incognito mode does not hide your activity. It doesn't matter what mode you use or how many times you clear your browser's history. Your internet service provider can still see every single website you visited. And that's why even when I'm at home, I never go online without using ExpressVPN. It doesn't matter who your internet provider is. It can be Verizon, Comcast, or even AT&T. The ISP in the U.S. can legally sell your information to ad companies. ExpressVPN is an app that reroutes your internet connection through their secure servers so your ISP can't see the sites that you visit. ExpressVPN also keeps all of your information secure by encrypting 100% of your data with the most powerful encryption available. Most of the times, I don't even realize I have ExpressVPN on. It runs seamlessly in the background and is so easy to use. All you have to do is tap one button and you're protected. ExpressVPN is available on all of your devices, phones, computers, even your smart TV. So there's no excuse for you not to be using it. Protect your online activity today with the VPN rated #1 by CNET and Wired. Visit my exclusive link at expressvpn.com/safety and you can get an extra 3 months free on a 1-year package. That's expressvpn.com/safety. expressvpn.com/safety to learn more.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. Look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Hamilton the Pug, Instagram star and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open. Don't speak with your mouth full. Keep your elbows off the table. Share your things, play nice, and generally treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day, making sure they brush their teeth, is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak. My name is Julius Gaines, creative writer, poet, photographer.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds pretty magical over there for sure. Anyways, 15 minutes past the top of the hour. Yeah. 15 minutes past the top of the hour. You are listening to to the Rated R Safety Show. You know, sometimes I have to tell you, if you're not hanging out where you can actually, let me phrase this. If you hang out on the radio station, awesome. I love it that you're hanging out on the radio station. Very cool stuff that you're hanging out with us. But here's the thing. If you are not hanging out on the social media platforms, taking a look at some of the chats that come in from time to time, and let's really just go specific to Twitch. If you're not seeing what's going on Twitch, I think you're missing like half the conversation, and that's not a joke. So there you go. Just something to think about as we are talking this morning and going through all kinds of stuff. Anyway, so let's start talking about what is going on inside of the world of the news, because I always think that those things are important as you and I are hanging out first thing. Because that's the way that it goes. That's the way that it goes. Good morning or hello from Brazil. Hello. So there you go. Hello, this Twitch is too funny. I don't know about that. What's up? Thanks for coming by. So let's start getting moving and grooving real quick. There has been more than 9,000 anti-Asian incidents since the start of the pandemic, according to a new report from the National Coalition of Stop AAPI Hate. The group received 9,081 incident reports during that time, and of those, 4,548 occurred in the last year and 4,533 this year. Worth noting, the coalition of verbal harassment and shunning in their numbers, which don't qualify for legal hate crimes, just for information purposes. So these are actually other things that come about. So harassment and shunning accounted for the two largest shares of total incidents. So the numbers are a bit skewed when it comes to the legality of it. But think about this. Think about the change in stuff that it actually has been going on since then. Since we've been actually since this whole thing's been happening. Major Johansson, I think you're kind of losing it this morning inside of the box. I mean that in the best of ways. I mean that with the best intentions as I say that. But you're getting a little all over the place as we are talking this morning. Anyways, let's continue talking a little bit more. Residents of Canberra, Australia, are being forced back into their homes for 7 days after one person, yes, I did say one person, tested positive for COVID-19. For the sake of your health, your family's health, and for the health of the community, it is critical that the people in Australia that in that particular locale take every precaution that they can in the coming days, according to Andrew Barr, the chief minister said. The infected individual is a man in his 20s. So let's think about this real quick, because we do talk about it. We do talk about some of the stuff that happens across the world. Now, think about where you're located at. Now, I don't know if you're in the U.S. I don't know if you're in the U.K. I don't know if you're in Australia. Don't have any clue where you're located. I know we do air on Radio Big in Canada, U.K., and Americas, and on Safety FM. We're across the whole multiverse there. But think about this for a moment. Think about how different our world would be if lockdowns were implemented every single time that something came about where somebody had one case of COVID. Now, I'll tell you, somewhere where like I'm located, over the weekend alone, there was over 28,000 COVID cases. 28,000 COVID cases. So how would that actually look? How would that actually come about? So I don't know. There's a lot of stuff to think about as we are moving forward. How is this world in certain places one thing and then in others another? So there you go. Chicago health officials reported yesterday that 203 cases of COVID-19 have been linked to Lollapalooza. None of the cases have been linked to hospitalizations or death. The Department of Public Health Commission, Dr. Alison Ardwary, waved off the cases, saying nothing unexpected here. No signs of super spreader event, but there are clearly hundreds of thousands of people attending that we should expect to see some more cases. So that's for sure. What else do we got here? Worth noting, the number represents only those who got tested or reported a symptom. How many others have COVID? But that's gonna be the thing. That's gonna be the thing for sure. And then, will the brush off of the cases also apply to those who are reported that are at Sturgis? Because that's going to be something else. Good tonight at 1818. Okay. And then, do you know how to throw a Frisbee? Really? I mean, you see how this is the great thing about the freeform on Fridays. Because when I say that we can go into a little bit of everything, yes, I guess we can talk about it. So to answer your question, do I know how to throw a Frisbee? I will say yes to an extent. I will tell you the town that I grew up in or spent several years in was a little place called Waco, Texas. And they had developed extreme Frisbee. So I did get to I did get to throw that in there. So, yeah, I was able to do extreme Frisbee. They had like these weird goal things. It was almost like looked at as almost like golf. You had actually different Frisbees depending on whatever the hell you were doing.
Duh.
So that's definitely some stuff to think about as we are talking this morning. That's for sure. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a weird one.
Duh.
As we because that one could go all over the place as we are talking. What do you think? Let's do a duh again.
Duh.
How about another?
Duh.
So there you go. I can throw a discus. A discus. I'm glad you can throw a discus. Could you be any better at your streaming? I probably still need a lot of work, but thanks for pointing that out because it does become one of those things that I know that I need to develop time inside of the craft. So anyways, let's continue talking. The FDA is working on authorization for a third dose of Pfizer and Moderna COVID-19 vaccines. Dr. Rochelle Walensky said that yesterday that those who are immunocompromised, that would be the priority for the booster shot, followed by the FDA decision of an independent advisory panel to the CDC that would convey today to discuss the matter if offered a recommendation on that. So there you go. Oh, I'm special. I appreciate it. I have a low IQ. Well, I don't know what to tell you. It's good to hear. I guess I will join your club here for just 1 second.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Definitely trying to be something. Not sure if entertaining falls into that group or category. So here you go. Fred has been downgraded to tropical depression as it heads towards Florida's coast. Governor Ron DeSantis tweeted yesterday Floridians should review their disaster plan in anticipation of the storm landfall this weekend. Fred swept over Haiti and the Dominican Republic yesterday, knocking out power to approximately 300,000 people. Yeah, that's 300,000 people. Oh, thanks for the follow. I do appreciate it. And then what are we doing? We're talking a little bit about everything. So jump into the box and discuss whatever the hell you want. We'll get that moving and grooving real quick. Anyways, I think it's time for us to talk about what's going on inside of the market beat. So let's get John Smalls inside of here, and we'll have him start talking, moving and grooving, and we'll go from there.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Friday the 13th of August, 2021. Up and up it goes. Where it stops, nobody knows. The S&P 500 advanced for another day to set another new all-time high, despite the risk of inflation. Market participants were shocked on Thursday morning to find out producer prices advanced 1 full % over the month and are up 7.8% over last year. This is the highest level of inflation since the data was first recorded in 2010, and gives little reason to believe consumer inflation will tame in the second half of the year. Friday could be a challenge for the market, with the index trading at all-time highs and upward momentum quickly subsiding. The market is ripe for a correction. A move down by the S&P 500 to retest support at the short-term moving average would not be out of the ordinary. A move below the short-term moving average, however, could spark the next round of serious selling in the market. You can get the inside track in your inbox at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one, letting us know what exactly is going on inside of the market. Here's what we were able to come up with on our side. Markets rose on Thursday as the Dow gained 14 points, the NASDAQ lifted about 51 points, and the S&P added about 13 points. First jobless claims were down this week from the prior week, in line of the analysts' expectation. The mark of 375,000 claimants nearly matches the lowest level during the virus situation. We're not even calling it a pandemic anymore. I guess it's the virus situation. Healthcare and technology were the best performing sectors as the S&P 500 during Thursday's session. Apple contributed to almost, 2% over what had surged. So there you go. There you go. Some of the things to think about as we are talking real quick. So I'm going to give you something a little bit odd on this show today. Well, I won't say odd, maybe something a little bit different. We did it one time before and some people were in shock. So I figured, hey, why not try to shock some more as we're doing this here today? So take a listen to this one.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1 minute devotion. Do you have a prayer partner? If not, maybe you should consider it. When 2 or more people join together to agree in prayer, there is an increased power. According to Deuteronomy 32:30, 1 man shall put 1,000 to flight, but 2 shall put 10,000 to flight. If it were straight arithmetic, we would say 1 could chase 1,000 and 2 could chase 2,000. But when 2 believers agree together in prayer, there is a geometric increase in the effectiveness of their prayers. Jesus said, I tell you that if 2 of you on earth agree about anything you ask for, it will be done for you by my Father in heaven. That's Matthew 18. Lord Jesus, bind our hearts together with each other in prayer. In your holy name we pray. Amen. If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
Okay, so there you go. Some interesting stuff. I don't know what the hell's going on in the box this morning, but that's hilarious. Yeah, so the 1 minute devotion making a reappearance real quick. Apparently May Switch Women was very excited about that one. Probably a little bit more excited than some other people inside of here. So there you go. Glad to see that someone else is playing this game. What game? I'm not playing a game. What's the game that you're talking about? I'll get bored on the streamers who are not as good. Yeah, I think you might be a little bit more bored than what you're expecting here. Anyways, gas prices are close to the peaking when it will start to drop in September. Gas Buddy head of petroleum analyst Patrick DeHaan. DeHaan told Varney and Co. that he believes that the gas prices will be 10 to 25 cents lower as they end of towards the end of the year, and they will start. You'll start seeing the decline as late as mid-September, so long as we can stay clear from hurricanes. The prediction comes one day after the Labor Department reported that its consumer price index rose 5.4% over year from last month. The price of gas increased by 41.8% from July 2020. The national average for the gallon of gas is, as of yesterday, is $3.19. So there you go. So here's the thing: when you start hearing stuff like that, when you start hearing about prices of fuel going up, when you start hearing about things that are changing in that fashion, does this start making you to think, oh, it might be time to go electric? Now, I'm just asking the question of the electric. Not that you have to go electric, but it becomes one of those very interesting concepts or questions for sure. And the reason that I ask the question is because some people will go, well, if I'm using electricity from my house and I don't have a solar on the house, then how does that work? Well, essentially, you're using another fuel-based source. Don't get me wrong, when you're using solar, it is fuel-based as well, because solar power, that's the fuel that's actually getting into it. But still, you're starting to take a look at it and going on how it's actually working. And when you start looking into some solar programs, it's pretty interesting on how they actually work anyways, on how the back end and back tail of the whole section ends up working. Anyways, it is 28 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's continue talking here. When it comes to protection from the Delta variant, one COVID-19 vaccine is providing better than the rest. Early findings show that Pfizer vaccine drops to 42% effectiveness against the infection, while the Moderna vaccine only drops to 76 of it. So there you go. Researchers of the Mayo Clinic posted yet to be peer-to-peer reviewed study of Medarex this week. Further findings indicated that vaccinated with Moderna were half as likely to develop a breakthrough infection compared to those who got the Pfizer jab. So listen to that one more time. Further findings indicated those vaccinated with Moderna were half as likely to develop a breakthrough infection compared to those with the Pfizer jab. So just some stuff to think about as if you are contemplating about doing anything with the vaccine. Those are some options. Doesn't mean that you need to go out there and get it, because it still needs to be a personal choice, as we have spoken about this over and over and over again. So just in case, just want to make sure about that, because that's the thing. I mean, so there you go. That's what they're saying. So some people wanted to go Johnson & Johnson because of one shot. Some people now apparently will change their mind of going with Pfizer. Some people wanted to go with Pfizer because of them being familiar with it. Some people will go with Moderna based on research studies. So it all depends on what you want to do. So many different things to talk about. Sicily set a new all-time heat record for Europe. I don't know if you heard about this, but authorities in Italy reported that the island city of, let's butcher the name, let's try it, Syracuse, recorded a temperature of 119.8 degrees Fahrenheit on Wednesday afternoon. The hottest temp ever recorded in Europe was 118 degrees Fahrenheit in Greece back in 1977. So there you go. I don't know about that. I mean, I know that sounds like desert heat, depending on what's going on here. Anyways, as you're thinking about this morning, we're talking and taking a look at a move and a groove and all that other fun stuff. What do you got planned for this weekend? You got anything cool going on? Anything extravagant? Anything that you would like to share this morning in regards to what you have going on? I always find it interesting taking a listen to what people will be doing. And then what are you thinking now? I don't have it in this particular news section, but there was breaking news. Let me see if I can find it that came out yesterday. I'll take a look around real quick on my news feed, on my news feeder over here. And it was talking about AEG. So let's see if we can find this. Let me do a little quick searchy here. Of course, when you do this in real time, it always becomes a thing. So, according to Rolling Stones, this came out yesterday. AEG's concerts will require proof of vaccination. Got plans for Coachella? You'll now need to be vaccinated in order to get in. Starting October the 1st, anyone who decides to step foot inside of a concert venue or festival owned by AEG Presents, from ticket holders to staff, will need to show proof of full vaccination, the major concert company announced on Thursday, August the 12th. Southern California's two-weekend desert jamboree set for April of next year just happened to be a biggie. AEG also owns or co-runs the likes of Firely Fly Music Festival, Day in Vegas, and New Orleans Jazz Fest, as well as storied establishments like New York Webster's Hall and Brooklyn Steel, and the Los Angeles Roxy and El Rey Theater. According to the press materials reviewed by Rolling Stones, the policy will remain open-ended, and changes to it may occur if and when the information surrounding the infection rates, transmission data, and local federal regulations present themselves. So what do you think? That's going to be, I was talking to a friend of mine last night, and I was discussing with him on how that is probably going to be a game changer. And what do I mean when I say game changer? I'm talking about that it's going to change a lot of things that are going on inside of at least the industry that we do. And I know that there's some big stuff going on where people are doing in-person events, upcoming in-person events, in regards of doing presentations in the world of safety that we hang out in. But when you start taking a look at some of these bigger concert venues that are doing some of the things that they're doing, we're going to have to start taking a look and going, okay, so what's going to happen with our little small community of stuff? Well, as some people like to call it, our niche.
Duh.
What's going to happen there? Because here's the thing. As we move forward, what's going to happen with the whole connection of stuff? If you start seeing some of the bigger concert holders saying, okay, this is what we're going to do, you know that some of the smaller ones are going to do the same thing as well. Is there going to be some level of backlash? Absolutely. I do think that. But what's going to happen? And do you think that some of these big safety events that are scheduled will even take place? I'm going to tell you, as I do more market research on what is going on right now, I look at it this way. You're going to have to get to the portion that if you are putting on an event, it's hybrid. Almost everything's going to have to be a hybrid. Because think about this. Let's say right now you spend thousands of dollars building an event, or spent thousands of dollars of wanting to go to an event, and all of a sudden it gets canceled. Number one, most of these places are saying it's a delay, and so then they'll end up holding your money.
Duh.
Opposed to actually giving you your money back. So if you have a hybrid event, at least you have the option of telling your people that we're planning on attending that they could actually watch it virtually. So something to think about. It's going to get a lot more crazy, I think, before we get out on the other side of this thing. So just something to think about. It is 35 minutes past the top of the hour.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you.
online, you can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
I would never sell my only soul. Heard your whole team was for sale. Heard it's on the market for the low. Who the realest, we might never know. All this acting, you gon' play a role. Give you the world when they sign you up. Try you out and then they line you up. Ooh, now you're looking hungry, ribs are touching, need some food. Now you're all on live acting surprised, but you was fooled. Boy, get out the way, it's been a day, now you're old news. Now you got the pen and pad, you're trying to take my moves. Nowadays, nothing really excites me. Only one of me and nobody's like me. Phone ringing and I tell him it's ice. I got wifey on blinging, she ice. Freeze, photo, please. No
Okay, there you go. That is Nicky Nick. Yeah, Nicky Nick. The song's called Freeze. Readily available on Spotify and iTunes. Just in case if you were wondering. No photos, please. He doesn't want any photos. He's trying to keep it real. I do have to tell you, I do like the starter on this one. Take a listen real quick. We'll start off again.
Nowadays, nothing really excites me.
I guess I take a look at it, that little music at the very beginning. It makes it pretty interesting for sure as we are talking. Anyways, let's get back into some other things going on inside of the world of the news. It is 40 minutes past the top of the hour as we are speaking on this lovely, lovely, lovely morning. Anyways, because it is Friday, there is a couple of things that we normally do. So let's get into some of that. Right now, if you're not familiar with the show, what we'll do right now is we'll take 30 seconds, put it onto a clock, And what I would love for you to do is scream and shout and let out all your frustration. That way you don't take that shit into the weekend, because nobody wants to take that into the weekend. And that way everything's good and ready to go. So in about a few seconds, I'm going to put that onto the screen. I'll let you know if you're actually on the radio station, on that it's on there. So that way you can get it moving and grooving. So here you go. We'll get that back to starting here in 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so that's going to be time right there. How many bits for you to dance? I have a class where I do that, but you can go ahead and continue to do the 5-knuckle shuffle if you decide to do so. That's all up to you.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world real quick. So here we go. Let's talk about all these things. Free. If you want to know about some movies that are opening up today, so here you go. Free Guy, PG-13, a bank teller who discovers that he is actually the background player of an open world video game, decides to become the hero on his own story. That's actually featuring Ryan Reynolds. Respect, a PG-13. It's a biopic following the rise of Aretha Franklin's career from her child singing in her father's church choir into the international superstardom. That's actually starring Jennifer Hudson and Forrest Whitaker, just in case. The other one, Don't Breathe Part 2. It's rated R. The sequel is set for the years following the initial deadly home invasion, where Norman Nordstrom lives in a quiet solace until his past sins catch up to him. So there you go. I have to tell you, Don't Breathe Part 1, a lot of people told me it was a great movie. I have not watched it to this day. So I'm just saying, I definitely need to go out there and take a listen to it or take a view of it. That's for sure, because I did not take a watch of it at all. So it always makes it pretty interesting on how it goes. What does it say there? It keeps freezing. Okay, I'm going to tell you this. It seems like we have this discussion quite often, but if your screen is freezing and you're noticing that going off and on quite often, here's what's probably taking place. So here's the bad news. You probably have too much other stuff going on. You have to other browsers open, other tabs open, and that will cause it to freeze. Just the reality of what it is. Keep in mind your social media is constantly refreshing, so that's what's going on. And then the other portion that I always tell people is when you're doing that stuff, when you're taking a look, sometimes your internet will screw up. Will screw up as you're doing it. Do you speak German? No, I don't speak German, but thanks for asking the question. I do have a Spanish tongue, if anything. Anyway, searching for savings. Lots of employers are welcoming their workers back to the office these days, but at the same time, many of the people have been working remotely for the last 17 months are wishing that they could continue working from home. The good news, some employers are happy to accommodate them. The bad news, it will cost you. At least if you work for Google has rolled out a new internal calculator to explain the potential pay cuts to employees who choose to continue working from home. Reportedly, those who commuted an hour to the company's offices in Manhattan would see their salary slashed by 15% if they continue to telecommute. Others with shorter commutes would see their pay cuts at 5% and 10%. And those who related brief commutes wouldn't see wages affected at all. Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn all have warned employees who have planned to leave their expensive cities like New York and San Francisco to permanently work remotely from further afield. They will have their salary slashed. A Google spokesperson said that the compensation packages have always been determined by location, and we will always pay top dollar to local market based on their employees' work from where their employees work. So think about that real quick. I want you to think about this. So hold the phone here. So now companies are definitely telling you that you are not being paid for your skill set. You are being paid for where you're located with your skill set. So think about that. Let's say, for instance, you lived in San Francisco. You decided to move out to the middle of nowhere, Alabama. Your skill set didn't change. You're just not commuting now. You're telecommuting. All of a sudden, you will see a pay cut because you're not going into the office. Is it worth it? I don't know. So if you work for Google, I guess the thing to do is move somewhere more expensive. So that's something to think about. And then 15% sounds like a lot, but when you consider the fact that you'll never have to see Jerry the Jerk in person again, it's probably worth it. So some stuff to think about. And then, well, maybe their commute would be less than an hour if they didn't use Google Maps. So maybe that's something else to think about altogether.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
I have to tell you, that's still a little bit mind-boggling to me in regards of the expense thing on how that actually works. I mean, I get it and I don't get it all at the same time. But I guess, that's the fun part that you have to think about when it all comes to that. I mean, what I would almost say is that you really want to be, if you're going to work for Google, you really want to work somewhere that's super ass expensive. You want to be in the Palo Altos of the world. And then you just want to move out to the middle of nowhere, because then that 15% really won't seem like that huge of a deal. I'm just saying that out loud. Anyways, let's continue talking. A Russian woman is suing McDonald's over featuring cheeseburger and chicken nuggets, which she said caused her to break her fast during Lent. Kanasia Ovkakova said that she was trying to stay away from meat and other animals during the 6-week period leading up to Easter in 2019. And then she abstained from eating meat for a month when she saw the enticing McDonald's advertising banner. And according to her statement, I could not help myself. I visited McDonald's and bought a cheeseburger. She's asking for 14 or 1,000 rubles as compensation for her sustained moral damage. So really, all she's looking for is about 10 more cheeseburgers. I mean, why would you sue someone for $14 or 1,000 rubles? I mean, I'm just asking. That seems like a very low number. I could be absolutely wrong. So maybe some of my Russian friends could tell me a little bit better, because apparently I'm not getting it.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, let's continue talking real quick. Ontario police issued a warning after stopping a driver in North Toronto whose car was piled high with empty beer cans that he or she was literally unable to see the rearview mirror. The vehicle was stopped in the Cottage County during the ride check, where officers specifically looked at the signs that someone was drinking before hitting the road. The signs were certainly there. Filling the back of the Toyota floor was nearly the way from all the way up to the top of the roof of the car. So from the bottom of the floor to all the way to the top of the roof of the car. But drivers wasn't found to be impaired. They were charged with having an insecure load and for driving in the license under suspension. He wasn't impaired, but his sight list was gone. So there you go. I let's see how many other more people end up getting tickets for not having a secured load. I mean, I guess you can get that all the time.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so before we get into some other stuff, some Motivation Minute stuff, before we get into anything else, let's get into Motivation Minute. So here's some Johnny Smalls telling you exactly what's going on.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. Today's quote has been submitted by Jessica. Osho said, "Nobody is superior, nobody is inferior, but nobody is equal either. People are simply unique, incomparable." I agree wholeheartedly. I actually just had a great conversation with a friend. She was asking about my interviews with celebrities and wondered if I get starstruck. I really don't. I'm not even sure why. I think it's because I understand that we're all just people. Some people do important jobs. They save lives and cure diseases. Others might sing songs and pretend to be somebody else in movies and TV shows. We are all just people. Flawed and imperfect people. Be the very best version of yourself, and you'll do great. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quote can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, so there you go. Some very great stuff from Johnny Smalls. What does that say? I have a huge lag issues as I watch Twitch from my phone. It's an iPhone 5, so it sucks.